Pastor Fuyates from the Greater Sydney Conference. Hope you're well, and I hope you enjoyed your holidays. We've had 3 weeks here in Sydney, and it has just been awesome. We had a little break. So we're back, and we're doing honours again. This is awesome. I'd like to thank the Lumberjack Association of Australia for the shirt inspiration. I got this from Target for $5. Might have been 10. Might have been $8.50. I'm not sure. Not sure of the price. Have a look at the docket. But they're running out from Target. Go to Target Country. So go to the rural areas. You'll see the flannelette shirts. Get them and get them quick. This is more of a Canadian version, if you can call it that. Shout out to my wife. She is Canadian, and all the Canadians out there. Much love, E. All right, so we are doing the food freezing on it today. There it is. This is going to be awesome. So hang on to your hats. Make sure that they get frozen. Lame joke. All right, blanching. Blanching is food preparation process wherein the food substance, usually a vegetable or fruit, is plunged into boiling water and removed after a brief interval. Then finally it's plunged into ice water and placed under the cold running water and shocked to halt the cooking process. So that's blanching. It's best placed to place the food on a wire kind of, the chip baskets, or a wire basket, or a wire, I don't know what they're called. You know, you do chips with them and the water. So if you do it then you don't have to empty the water out. You can just put the vegetables in the boiling water, take them out, and you can put the next batch in. That's easier than pouring off the boiled water. Furthermore, this will enable you to reuse the boiling water. So that's blanching. Quick freeze. Quick freeze is used for perishable food items in a case where the water is contained inside the food item and is subject to temperatures well below melting or freezing point 0. This causes the water inside of the foods to freeze in a very short period of time. So, to quick freeze, you want the water inside the food item, but you also want to separate it in a tray on it. So you don't want to put it. You can, if you want to slow freeze, you put it in a bag and put it in the freezer, or put it in a container, put it in the freezer, right? But if you want a quick freeze, the best thing is to put it on a tray individually, separated, and put it in the freezer. It'll freeze quicker. Freezer burn. Freezer burn is a condition that occurs when frozen food is usually damaged by ice crystals due to air reaching the food. So everything you put in the freezer needs to be air sealed and food safe. So make sure that your stuff, your containers, your bags, whatever it may be, is freezer quality. So it's food safe, but it's also airtight. Otherwise, you're going to get freezer burn on your food. What kinds of containers can be used for freezing food? Plastic containers work best. Metal containers also work, but I'd stick to the plastic. The food is important consideration that it's food safe and airtight, and not so the food isn't damaged by freezing. There's really good freezer bags out there, and that's what I'm using all the time, these freezer bags. And they're really easy to put food in and freeze. What are the essential considerations when selecting vegetable and fruit for freezing? Check the quality of the fruit. Make sure it's fresh, of the fruit and vegetables. Wash the fruit and vegetable thoroughly. You do not want any salt on it, and we'll discuss that a bit later. When you freeze the fruit and vegetable, make sure it's not bumped or scratched or bruised in any way. So try and look after it before you freeze it, and while you're during the blanching process. How do you thaw frozen vegetables for the table, and how do you thaw frozen fruits for the table? Well, most vegetables should be cooked without thawing first. So, if you're making a stir fry, chuck it straight in the stir fry, and it will just, chuck frozen stuff straight in and it will cook. Yeah. So the quicker the process, the better. So if you can come from freezing to quickly, heating up the food, that's the best. Corn on the cob should be partially thawed before cooking. Leafy green vegetables should be completely thawed. So how are you going to thaw food? Well, thawing food, you can put it under water. Make sure that water doesn't go kind of below 21 degrees while it's running. So you want to keep it kind of cold, but 21 degrees isn't real cold, but make sure it's below that so you can thaw it out fully. Probably the best way is to take from the freezer straight to the fridge. That way, the refrigerator is at about 4 degrees, so it's not going to go where bacteria is going to come into it. So, yeah, take it from the freezer straight to the fridge, and you might have to leave it there for 6 to 8 hours so it will fully thaw. But if not, you can drop the frozen vegetables straight into boiling water and it will quickly return to the boil. Fruits, do not, well, the big message here is don't thaw out fruit and vegetable at room temperatures. Don't leave it on the bench and let it thaw out. It's just, it's risky, and it's not, you end up with mushy vegetables because you have the water slowly melting, and it's not nice. It's not nice in any part of the process. So, if you're in a hurry, fruit can be thawed as the same process we just talked about under a cold running tap. And the best way to do that is get a bowl and then get a colander and put the fruit in that or veggies in that and fill up the bowl, and the colander will kind of separate it so you can easily take it out. But also you can put the next batch in. So yeah, do it like that. And if you need to change the water in the bowl, then you can do that. Make sure that 21 degrees. So we talked about before about salt, and you don't want any salt in the vegetables or fruit when you're freezing it. Well, salt lowers the freezing point of the water. So the water's in the fruit and vegetables when you do the blanching. So if you've got salt in it, it lowers the freezing temperature to minus 21 degrees, which is no good for anyone because a freezer will usually freeze at 18 degrees Celsius. Or minus 18 degrees Celsius. Normal temperature for freezing, if you don't have any salt, is 0 degrees. So that's what you want it at. So you might find that if it's got salt in it, it may not freeze in the freezer because the freezing temperature of most freezers is minus 18 and the salt reduces it down to minus 21, if that makes sense. Why is absorbic acid used in the syrup but not used in fruit juice? So when we're freezing, fruit, we might want to put it into a syrup. And if we're putting it in a syrup, which is just sugar and water, which isn't that healthy, so I recommend you do fruit juice. But if you're doing it in, water and sugar, you need to add absorbic acid so that it will, because absorbic acid will prevent the peaches from browning. It'll prevent the fruit from browning and turning bad, because no one wants to eat brown fruit. So in the fruit juice, it won't do that because fruit juice already has absorbic acid. So the best thing is get some fruit. If you're going to do peaches, for instance, get some pineapple or orange juice, put it in there. Make sure you leave room for it, it rising and it expanding, because water expands in the freezer. So, and put something on top of it so the fruit is submerged in the liquid. Okay, so these are the things you need to do. Here we go. There's 4 things, so it's pretty easy. Hang in there. We're going to get this thing done by 10 minutes. Freeze 2 vegetables. One of them has to be corn, and then the other one can be a vegetable of your choice. So let's go through the process of freezing. Blanch the vegetable before freezing, dropping in the boiling water, and make sure it's rolling. And excuse me, put the cold water on the fruit, or you can lay it on a tea towel if it's vegetables. Leave room for water expansion in your container, or place it in bags. Label the freezer bags or the container with the contents as well as the date, so you know when all that happened. to thaw, put in the fridge or put in a colander and have cold water running over it, as we mentioned before. Cook the thawed vegetables or quick freeze for pouring easily. And what do we do for quick freeze for pouring easily? Remember, we put it in a tray and we separate the just say it's broccoli. We separate the little florals or whatever they call them, and we put them in different, so they're not touching each other. And then once they're frozen, we can then put them into a bag. So that's used for easy pouring, and one of the questions asks that. The next thing you got to do is freeze peaches in light syrup, orange or pineapple juice, and we know how to do that. Remember, leave room for expansion, but put maybe some paper on the top, or the cooking paper on top, so you submerged in the liquid. So let's go through it. You got to freeze 2 vegetables. You got to freeze peaches in light syrup, orange or apple juice, and you got to freeze a berry in without sweetener. So you're just freezing the berries, yeah. So drain and wash the berries, except for blueberries, should not be washed. Pack them into containers and leave headspace for freezing. The last thing you got to do is make one kind of freezer jam. So basically wash 500 of strawberries. Here's the recipe: 500 strawberries or blackberries. Being sure to select only the fully ripe ones. Remove any caps or stems and crush the berries if desired. You can squeeze the blueberries through a sieve to remove any seeds. Put the berries in a large bowl. Add 100 ml of sugar. Mix well and let sit for 20 minutes. Dissolve 1 packet of powdered pectin in 250 ml of water and boil for 1 minute. Stir the water and pectin into the berries and sugar for about 2 minutes, and then ladle them in containers and freeze. So that's it. Sorry guys, it's been 12 minutes, but you have a great time. If you want me to come out and do an honor at your place, send me an email and I'll come out just like I did with Mile End and do the honor out there with your club, and it would be awesome. Let's build a community. Enjoy. This has been the Food Freezing Honor. Bless you.